CNG Media.
Welcome to Vino with Vito, and we have Dave Taramina, and today I have a special guest, the CEO of Century 21. This is great, Dave, the second CEO.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I was driving here and I was thinking, wow, Vito's arrived. He had the CEO of Robert Graham.
That
was cool.
He's had an actor, right?
That's it. See?
Now he has a CEO of
Century
one of the
21
biggest real estate companies in the world.
That's right.
It's amazing.
And for that occasion, I wore my Robert Graham short sleeve shirt, and we got a nice bottle of Brunello wine, Mike.
Awesome.
Thank you for Kevin again from Wine to Wine here. I'll open this bottle here and we'll start our conversation here. But Mike, thank you again for coming.
Vito, it's my pleasure. I mean, I maybe what most viewers don't know is the history and track record. Obviously, I'm an Essex County guy right here in your backyard, but your history and track record in this business and in this industry, and not just with Century 21, but all the consumers you've served and the dream of home ownership that you've delivered to so many families. So it's a great testament to be on here with you and share a little wine, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
On a hot summer day.
It's like 100 degrees out for the audience.
It's a hot summer night.
Hot summer night.
We do this
Hot
at
summer
night.
night.
We do this at night. Hot summer night.
Hot summer evening.
Thank you for that compliment, Mike. I really, really appreciate that. I always wanted to ask you one question. Do you have your real estate license?
I don't.
Oh.
See, you were right. See, I was pulling for you. I was pulling for you.
I know. What do they say? If you can get your real estate license, you can get your driver's license, right? It's like, was it tough? Was it tough? Tell me. Was it hard?
It was a little hard to get your, real estate license, but I did it well over 30 years ago.
I was just gonna say he went for the test. Carter was president. So.
Well, here's what I will say. Vito, because this is the truth, is that I believe that all sales and all sales professionals are built on the same common ground, right? And so what I've done for a really long time is I've been involved with, obviously, Century 21, but working that brand and growing that brand. And I tell people all the time, from a professional standpoint, I've done everything that a real estate professional's done. I've prospected, pre-qualified, presented, closed in a very long cycle sale. And I know there's certainly extra care for it in the real estate side of the equation because there's so many things you're navigating, so many different steps in the process. And so many different emotions, right, with the largest financial transaction that most people are going to do in a lifetime. So trust me, I have nothing but the utmost respect for, obviously, all of our professionals across the globe, because it's, I think people say, like, every day you wake up unemployed and you don't really have a paycheck, and you eat what you kill, if you want to say it that way. And so to watch 30 years is pretty impressive.
Right? Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that you do wake up unemployed every day. I was talking to someone the other day. They couldn't find a job. It's been 6 months. All these degrees and this and that. And I tell them the same thing. You know what? Sometimes I feel like that too, because think about it. I wake up in the morning. I don't have a steady paycheck coming in, and you know what? If we don't go out there and work every day, that's what it's all about. You got to keep hitting that pavement and keep doing what you're doing, especially to survive over 30 years.
Look, I've been around a lot of amazing real estate professionals across our system, around the globe, from California to Paris. What I found is that the professionals who have the longevity in this business, right, have a couple different things. Number one is your mindset. Like, you got to wake up every single day ready to rock and roll, super positive, just a glass is half full outlook on life and in your business. And I think the other thing is that the folks who have that longevity mostly are doing their business later on in life through referral, sphere of influence, and they do that because they've dedicated their lives to customer service. It's not about the sale. It's not about the navigating the market. It's about taking care of that customer through, again, what is some of the most stressful points in their purchase, right? And so again, hats off to you and so many others in the Century 21 system and around the industry who do such an amazing job every single day. And we don't, as real estate professionals, get enough credit for that.
Yeah, you're right. On that note, let's raise our glass. Salud.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. Appreciate the invite.
Thank you.
I love it. Logoed out.
He even has it on the box, Mike, too, over there with the cork.
Hey, not bad.
Very
I was
good.
going to say,
Thank
you're the
you, Kelly.
connoisseur.
Yeah.
Not bad. Nice, nice Brunello
So,
here.
so Mike, if we could tell the audience, a little bit about yourself. Like your story, how you got into this. What did you do before this? Were you always in real estate? That kind of thing.
So great question, Dave. I joke around with people. I got started in the mailroom at Century 21. I mean, I graduated college. I was a criminal justice major, and I think I watched too many X-Files reruns, and I wanted to be in the FBI. And I graduated, and here Century 21 had just literally sold their organization, their regions off to a company called Sendon, if you remember Sendon at the time. One of the very big conglomerates back in the day that was weaving together all kinds of real estate companies, hotel companies. Anyway, long story short, I started at the ground level. I mean, I put my resume out. They were hiring a lot of people. They were growing hand over fist. And, I started actually renewing Century 21 franchises in the state of Florida and Georgia. And I learned so much about negotiating, about the real estate brokerage business, about brokers and owners and entrepreneurs and what they had to think about and care about for their businesses. What a big investment it is for them personally. Like I say this to my team all the time. The Century 21 brand is more important and more ingrained in the lives and the families of the entrepreneurs who represent our business in the local market than it ever could be even in my role, where I'm the CEO. I have this huge responsibility of taking care of this brand, pushing it forward and growing it. But it's really one of my most favorite things about this industry is honestly the mom and pop nature, the cottage industry that we're in, and how ingrained they are in their local communities. And so, I learned.
So
a whole
what year
bunch.
was this that you started?
This is going back to 1998.
Okay. That's right. The year I started too. Look at that.
And now so Dave, I fast forward and I said to people on my team today, I just turned 50 in February. I said, "Oh my God,
Happy
guys,
birthday.
I've spent more time at Century 21 than I haven't." So 26 years of my life at Century
Half your
21.
life,
It's
more
like,
than half your
holy
life,
cow,
yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
So it's been a fun ride. I mean, I've done so many other things along the way, right? Like every nook and cranny of the business, interface with so many. Like I said, for most of my career, I've been involved in growing the brand, being a franchise salesperson, running the sales team. And then I was lucky enough, I think, to be in the right place at the right time, a big, cheerleader for the brand. I knew a lot about what was going on, how to grow it, and the company saw an opportunity to say, Mike, we'd like you to take it over and continue to grow it. And boy, it's been a fun ride ever since. So.
How amazing is that? You start off right at the bottom. So everybody listening, hey, a lot of people today, Mike, right away, hey, I want that job. I want to make $250,000,
Yeah.
$500,000 a year. That's the job I want. Of course, everybody wants that job. But to get to that position, you got to start somewhere and always start at the bottom. And you know what? If you dedicate yourself like you did, work hard and look at the outcome.
The one thing with the real estate and mortgages on my side of the business as well,
Same,
that
right
you
parallel.
notice, is that like it is one of the few industries where people just could move right up from bottom to top. Like, most companies are run by loan officers, right? Like, and they just move up, and salespeople just move up and run the business. So it's amazing. It's a very democratic industry where opportunities available.
The numbers don't lie, Dave,
Yep.
right? And I think to your earlier point, and maybe did we talk about this when we started, or maybe it was before we got started? But I mean, there's no shortcut for hard work. Like,
Right.
I got a bunch of kids. I know you guys all, got family, and I try to tell them all the time, guys, like you got to show up, you got to have the right mindset, and you got to put in the tough work. Like there's no shortcut, there's no
Right.
silver bullet, there's no app that's going to do it all for you.
Yep. And like the one thing we talk about this all the time, like the one thing that that you love your job and that we're in a great business is I would have my kids get into the business.
Right.
1,000%.
Yep.
And you hear sometimes people like, I would never have my kids.
Yeah.
I would 100% have my kids
Yep.
get into the business and
Yep.
get in the business with me.
And I think, I follow this as well, right? I can't even tell you the amount of family-run businesses that I've been part of, involved with, from seeing sons, daughters, grandkids,
Yep.
third generations, right? And it's interesting because I think those kids all the time, they look at their parents and how hard the successful ones really are working
Yep.
every single day, how many hours they're putting in. They're like, oh man, I am not getting into that business. And then sure enough, after they put some time in, whether it be in the corporate world or, following their passion,
Right.
they realize how extraordinary the real estate business is
Yep.
and how much it can give if you truly, like you said,
Yeah.
they put in the time. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my 19-year-old son. Hey, Dad, you know what? I want to buy an investment property. I want to start getting into the real estate business. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you know what? That's a great mindset. And this is a kid, Ralphie, that's going to do it. I know he's going to do it. Every time he thinks he wants to do something or wants to do something, he perfects it over 100%, and he moves on. And he is a hard worker. He's got an internship now. Freshman out of college. Tomorrow they're off for the holiday, and he's working a second job and a third job. So he goes, I'm off at this job. Well, I can go to this job instead because they're still open. But you gotta, and that's what you got to tell your kids. You got to work hard and you got to do what you got to do to.
Right. You got to take risks too, and real estate and our profession. Every day is a risk, right? And it's not a risk where your life's in danger, but small calculated risks wind up equaling big success. And you see that's so prevalent in our business.
All the time, every single day. And I can tell story upon story, but it is the bigger the risks, the bigger the payoff, right? And I'm not saying they can't be calculated and things of that nature.
Right.
You're going to put in the hard work to make sure that those calculated risks turn into successes. But, look, if I had to look at my personal career, I wish I took more risks in whether it's investment properties or bigger projects or, I think that's something that, all of us, I think, take a look and, if I just did
that, but that's why today, we look back and I'm 60 and, I always wanted to buy investment properties at my son's age, and my parents wouldn't let me at the time. Again, come and be an immigrant, hey, you can't do that.
He had to work the fields with the donkey.
Yeah. but it was, I appreciate that mindset.
Right, right. But that's how it was. And I look back now and say, wow, if I did that when, I'm Ralphie's age now, where would it have taken me? So I'm glad that he wants to do it. I remembered I couldn't do it, so you know what? I'm going to do my best to help him do it, and just keep going forward that way.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, there's a big thing that everybody wants to hear and wants to talk about is the big lawsuit that's going on. I know sometimes we go on and off with different things, but what do you think about all this?
And if you could, before you get into that, kind of explain it for average person, right? Maybe the if you could explain it for the first-time home buyer, because I think that's where agents are going to get the most questions, right? Oh, I heard on the news I don't have to pay you, right? That's good. So if you could kind of dummy it down for us. And,
I mean, look, there's a handful of lawsuits and copycat lawsuits that came out. The biggest one is where you have folks who came together in this class action lawsuit where they're questioning whether or not the seller and the buyer had an opportunity to negotiate their commission. They think that NAR and the MLSs and the industry, along with a couple of other, of the large major players throughout the United States, basically fixed the industry where we had a set commission, and that's what you charge, and there's no in between. And I think all of us who are in real estate know every single day, to your point, you're waking up at zero, and the fact of the matter is that everything we do is negotiable. In fact, I would argue that in real estate, you can find pricing models of all different shapes and sizes across all different brokerages and agents, right? Every single, what folks don't realize is every single agent out there is an independent contractor. There's no rules, regulations that they have to abide by the ethics and conduct themselves in an appropriate manner from a business standpoint. But outside of that, they make their own decisions on how much commission they're going to charge, what they're going to take. These class action lawsuits came about. They've gained a lot of steam in different marketplaces. They became national in scope. One of the things that I am, super proud about is that, we, from a company standpoint, we're one of the first to settle and say, look, we admit to no wrongdoing. We understand what your points are. We agree that we can change some of the idiosyncrasies in the industry, and we'll do that to try to be more transparent to the public. But the net is that they were looking at the real estate professional as saying, you guys are fixing your rates. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So what we have now is this scenario where we, as real estate professionals, both on the buy side and the sell side, are going to have an obligation and a contractual relationship with our customers, which quite candidly, I think is a good thing, not just for the customer, but for the real estate agent. Because it's going to outline everything that we do as a real estate professional to help protect and the fiduciary responsibility that we have towards that consumer and what is expected from us and what we are going to do through every single step in the process. And oh, by the way, how we get paid. Nobody works for free.
Right.
I don't know anybody who would sign. I don't know any consumer, once you explain to them what we're going to do in this process, who would say, "Oh, I wouldn't pay you for that." I think this is going to offer more transparency to everybody and just be right up front with what the conversation is. So to me, the net is positive. I mean, there's so many different ways to look at this thing. I do think that there are probably professionals, and this is true because there is somewhat of a low barrier of entry into the real estate world. Like, you can get your real estate license. There's, depending on what state, there's certain obligations that you have to have from a continuing ed standpoint. But there's not a lot of professionals in this business that have the long-standing tenure and continued commitment to service and their customer that folks like Vito have. I mean, it's a very transient industry. Most agents come into the industry and they don't make it to the other side.
Or it's a part-time job.
Or it's a part-time job, or they're just doing it to serve their cousin, or maybe they have some investments and they're just on the periphery. The real true agents who are the professionals out there, I mean, you don't understand how hard these folks are working to protect their consumer, whether you're on the sell side or the buy side. I know that people will continue to see value in the real estate agent. It's kind of like going to court and representing yourself against one of the high-profile law firms, right? Like, who's going to do that? It's just not a smart play.
Right.
And there's, I talk about this all the time, Dave. It's like, and Vito knows this better than any of us, there's like 180 different steps in the process after a consumer makes an offer on a home, right? They come to the process very educated, much more than when you first got into the business, right?
Absolutely.
They know just as much as me, they say. So
a lot of times about the market, the school, their cousin knows about the block, right?
Right.
But what they don't know is how to navigate those 180 steps after they make that offer.
Right.
How to deal with the mortgage company, how,
home inspections.
Home inspection, right. Blah, blah, blah. So, net, I think this is probably great for all of us in that it will set right up front what the rules of engagement are and why you should hire a great professional.
What's a downside to it?
The downside, I don't think there is any. I think it pushes people out of their comfort zone a little bit. I think, who I feel bad for are first-time home buyers. I feel bad for, and it looks like they're going to try to make some movement on the vets front, right, which is super positive. I mean, it's
I think they adjusted it now, where the VA was quick to say, because a veteran,
right? You don't have to pay anything, no money down. And now, how are they going to adjust that?
Well, the VA loan couldn't go towards paying a professional.
Now it could. Yeah, the VA acted quick on that.
But FHA won't do that.
No, FHA will.
FHA will do.
It was
the
just
same
VA
thing.
that wouldn't.
Okay.
Because it's written in the VA handbook or guidelines, but yeah.
So I think what folks don't realize, if you study the industry, and this goes back to the 1950s, the DOJ and Supreme Court have been involved and stick their nose into the real estate industry. It feels like every 2 decades.
Right.
Back to the 1950s, there were changes that the DOJ and the Supreme Court made to our business, and we adapted. And I think that happened again in the 70s. People don't remember this. I use it all the time. In the 1990s, everybody worked for the listing agent. People don't realize that. And then consumer groups came out and they said, "Oh my God! Wait a second. He's really working for the sell side, for the listing consumer, for the listing client." And so they advocated and they said, we have to have buyer representation, which I think was an amazing shift for the industry and has netted us out to where we are today. I think right now it feels like, oh my God, logistically, what are we going to do? How are we going to get through all this? Where's the information? I do think in some ways, honestly, for the consumer, it's going to make it less transparent than it is today, where all the information is out there on the MLS in the public. They want us to pull it off and not have it publicly available. It's kind of like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the consumer be able to see that? So anyway, I think net, you get through a year of logistically running through this and
you
operating
get used to it again.
And you adapt, right?
I remember, Dave, hold on, back in the 90s when, you always worked for the listing agent. So you had a buyer and, you would tell the buyer, hey, I just want you to know, I actually, whatever you tell me, I'm going to go back and tell the seller. What do you mean? Don't you work for me? No, I work for the listing agent.
Wow.
But that was the best thing they did where, you had buyer representation. So
let me ask you, I'll ask you and you, like, why, like, I understand the MLS, like, I totally understand why we have it, why it was incorporated. I get how it worked before, right? You had the big phone book or whatever it is, the houses. But with technology, the one thing I don't understand, just looking at it as a non-real estate agent, right? Why would we need an MLS when we can put a listing on realtor.com or Zillow? But forget Zillow, but like, what if they just put on realtor.com? Why do you need an MLS? Like, what's the PC answer, and what is the like, what is the business benefit of
No,
it?
You first.
So I
Mike.
mean, I don't know if folks know this, that like at some point in this country there was something like 1,000 MLSs, right? I mean,
Right.
gosh, right here in New Jersey, how many do we have that you have to put in? How many are you?
I belong to Garden State. I belong to New Jersey. Now I have someone looking in Jersey City. If you want to really look in Jersey
Hudson
City,
County,
you need
right?
the Hudson County
Yes.
MLS.
That's what I mean.
You know, Central MLS.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
crazy. It should be one MLS, just like a Zillow, just like a
Realtor.com.
Realtor.com. I agree, because a lot of times you'll call these agents, say in Jersey City, hey, can I show, this property? Sure, use the, key box, but I'm not a member. Can you help me out? No.
To me, that's crazier than anything else. Like,
Yeah.
it just, especially with technology, technology should streamline things.
So
right?
and that's happened. Like there has been, I think the real estate industry will continue to consolidate. It's happened where I don't know what the number is, but we're down by a considerable amount of MLSs. I think that will continue to happen. You have like how this industry grew up and grew. There becomes a point where, to your point, like you can either change and get with the times or you can't. Now, I mean, we're at a point where you would think that one of these national outlets, like an NAR or one of these large companies, would come together and say, hey, we can do this. Now, I do think there are people outside of our industry and technology who are trying to do these things, right? I mean, we know who those players are. And the unfortunate part about that is they're trying to take it back to, okay, now they have the power because they've taken not our information, our consumers' information, the thing we've worked so hard to bring to the table, and now they're going to use it against us and sell it back to us. And it's like, why do we need a middleman in there?
Right. And that's my point. Why do you need that middleman? Like, I don't know.
It's a little
It
crazy.
seems like that would solve a lot of issues too. Like,
It will. Like even now, like you said, the consumers are so educated. I mean, I'll get a text, hey, can you show me this house? And I'm like, this house not even on the market. They already have an alert before I even knew that this house came on the market.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Coming soon.
Pretty soon you're going to have AI predicting when that person's going to put on the market. You call for it.
If you don't already, right?
Yeah, you probably have that already. Absolutely.
We should ask AI. When do you think they're going to sell? Tomorrow.
Do you
knock on their door.
use ChatGPT or any of these things?
I don't. I know Dave does. I know
it,
Jason does. I know Chris does. A lot of people do, but I got to get into that. Because now you're looking at the remarks on the MLS, and you're like, I know that guy. He would never write something like that. You know? So
The AI is so insane, like especially where we are a guaranteed rate, that sometimes like we have predictive models for like our book of business, and they'll say, okay, this person, it looks like they're on track that maybe in 3 months they may want to do like home improvements. So I'll call them and be like, wow, it's crazy. I was just thinking about maybe we should put it on a kitchen. I told my wife, I was like, it's like scary. It's like like Minority Report, like with Tom Cruise, where they're predicting the crime. Like this is where we are.
I don't pretend to be an expert here, but I do think that our industry is going to see a lot of regulation around it because of some of this stuff. I think it gets a little bit scary, and it's got to be used ethically and appropriately. And I mean, to prospect is one thing, and to try to get ahead of the game is one thing. But you talk about the power of this. It's just, that said, here's what I go back to, is just right after COVID, everybody's saying, oh, we got all these iBuying mechanisms. Just punch it in on your phone and we'll sell the property for you. We don't need real estate agents. It'll offer a better experience this way. And Wall Street and everybody else was all over. Like, oh my God, you got to have Zillow Instant Offers. You got to have Redfin iBuy. You got to have where's iBuying today?
Right. And it tanked Zillow's stock for a short period of time when they got out of iBuying. So yeah.
You still have people doing prospecting the old-fashioned way, though. I had a call coming in. It was another agent, but he goes, hello, is this Vito? I go, yeah, this is Vito. How could I help you? And he goes, well, you own a property in Bloomfield. I go, why? He goes, well, I'm a real estate agent, and and then he starts going on and on and on, and he's going, and I just let him talk, and then I had to cut him off. I said, look, pal, just next time, just do your homework. Check. I'm an agent also. He was dying. He's like, oh, where are you at? Century 21. Oh, okay, But it's insane. You can't blame the kid.
It's a people business, right? I mean, it's the more people you get in front of. There will be a call today where somebody says, you know what, I've been thinking about selling.
Yeah.
Come on over and tell me, right? Yeah. So
if technology is a good thing though, and it could if you rely on it solely, right, you'll fail.
Yeah.
Because you need to have a human touch with technology, and with you need to they always say is AI going to replace the mortgage rep, right? No. What you're going to do is the mortgage rep is going to replace the guy who uses the AI. And you have to use these tools at your disposal.
That's right. To be more efficient.
To be more efficient. Right.
And I think again that's what's crazy about it in our industry is not just every market is different, but how deals get done in every market. Like South Jersey is completely different than the way we do things in North Jersey. And you go through any state and they're all different in their nuances.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it takes a human being to navigate that. Right. And so that's why the real estate agent, the mortgage professional, I mean, these are key components to delivering that American dream.
You still get the phone calls. I mean, I just have a deal now. We're out of inspection. We're out. They have their mortgage commitment. Everything is done. The buyer, what's next? What do I have to do? And now you relax. Now we have to wait till closing. That's it. Oh, okay, that's it. Yes. Right. But you do need somebody, to do that. You need somebody to negotiate the deal. You need that middleman. Because think about it. Everybody thinks everything is personal. So if you're buying a for sale by owner and you take the seller off, or the seller takes the buyer off, now they're, everybody's at each other's throats. But at least if you have a middleman there, you can try, to calm everything down.
And somebody who's seen the conversation 100 times, right? Like I've seen people get in fights over refrigerators. I mean, how many times have you seen that, right?
Oh, yeah. Washer, dryer, the drapes.
Yep.
I want this chandelier, but the chandelier is like $50. I don't care. It's sentimental. I want it.
Yeah.
And I'm only putting up a light bulb. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Century 21, right?
Yep.
So kind of pivoting a little bit here. This is your 30-second commercial, right? I'm a new agent. Actually, you know what? I'm an experienced agent. Okay? I know everything. What can Century 21 offer me that ABC behind me? They give me everything.
Yeah.
Why would I go to Century 21?
I mean, I'll give it to you in a nutshell. When you sit down at the kitchen table like this, Century 21 stands for trust and confidence. We've got the most recognized brand, the most brand awareness, the most respected brand. I'll tell you a quick story, right? We brought on a new company in New Mexico. Century 21 is nowhere to be found in the market. Buyer walks into seller walks into their office. They said, "Hey, we're thinking about selling our home." Right away, they go into the listing presentation. "Hey, let me tell you," they're like, "Guys, we know Century 21 from Southern California. You already got the listing. Don't worry about it." So it's the brand name. It's been around for 52 plus years. One of the things that I love about this brand is true professionals like this who represent what we are in every single market. And there's no consumer that doesn't trust the name Century 21.
Yeah. You sold?
I'm sold. That's
You're
why
sold?
I'm here. That's why I'm here. I've been
Vito,
here
should we play our favorite game? Predictions?
Of course.
Can we do it?
Of course. We're going to have Mike do the predictions
I don't think
first.
the Jets will win the Super Bowl. I'm going to go on record.
Yeah, you should put that in there.
Cross that off.
All right. This is one of our favorite games. Vito, you can play too.
Go for it.
Ready? Chris, you want to get on this?
Yeah, sure.
You want to play? Yeah.
Let's
Where,
do it.
where are you in the shot?
No.
No.
Come on in.
Okay. All right. So, 12 months from now, home prices in New Jersey and nationally, where do you see them going percentage-wise, up or down and percentage-wise?
I think they'll be relatively stable. I think we've had 155 out of 160 months in a row of year-over-year price increases. I'm starting to see them flatten across the country. New Jersey is an anomaly, right? Because New Jersey is different than across the country. I think New Jersey will continue to be strong. I don't know if it's 1 or 2 points. I don't see it being much more than that. But, I mean, just based on where things are headed and inventory, I think New Jersey remains strong.
Don Vito?
I agree 100% with Mike. I'm starting to see a lot of these houses actually sitting a little bit. Their, prices are being, stable. You're not seeing crazy, over bids and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be probably stable also.
Which state is going to get hit with the not hit, but which state's going to have the biggest, largest decrease?
So largest inventory increases right now are all the big states, and I say this all the time. It's the big run-up states or the big run-down states.
Yep.
Florida, Texas, Georgia, Arizona, and California. Those are the most climbing inventory right now. If you look at states like Massachusetts, Boston area, New York, our area, New Jersey, everything's pretty stable. Inventory's kind of sticking around. Remember, guys, here's one thing to point out. We are comparing our real estate market, a normal real estate market, against 21 and 22.
Yes.
Those were not
That was an anomaly.
totally.
Yep.
And I always say this, Mike. I always say I can't wait until we get a normal real estate market again.
Yeah.
You're going to get half of these, excuse my French, cocky realtors getting out of the market because they don't know how to talk to another agent. They don't really know how to talk to a buyer or a seller. All they think about is, let me just go put a sign up there and, we're selling that house. Once the market gets back where you got to negotiate and know what the heck you're doing, a lot of people are going to get out of this business.
That's right.
That's my opinion.
Yep.
35% of the homes across the country right now are taking a price decrease. Probably
Yep.
not in New Jersey, but how many agents have had that conversation or know how to have that conversation, right?
Yeah. Chris himself had price decreases.
I
In,
think Jersey, though, increases over the next 12 months. Nationally, comes down.
Okay.
I think Florida will get hit, but then devil's advocate, 150 million West Palm Beach sale last week. But I think nationally definitely comes down. I think new construction is definitely up. I think you're going to see a lot of inventory begin to sit.
All right, the wizard has spoken. The man behind the curtain.
The man
All right.
behind the
I
curtain.
like it. He's the wizard. All right. Home affordability, big issue, right? If there is a new president, will home affordability, or let's say we
Come on, we
keep
never
our
talk about politics.
no.
I know,
Listen.
I know,
Okay, how
just
about this? If, regardless of which president wins, right, do you think they will deal with home affordability?
No.
The wizard says no. Vito?
I don't think so, but they should. I mean, it's hard. I mean, especially for first-time home buyers. Come on, first-time home buyer house is now probably in our area $500,000.
How do you control it, though?
There's
You
two
can't.
ways you can control it. It's more inventory, right? And that's not going to get done at the national level.
Right.
No.
And the other part of it is rates. And again, you got over a majority of the interest rates, mortgage rates that are out there that people have in existing homes is below 4%.
Right.
So until that moves and people feel like they can get a little bit of movement or refund, like
Justifies going up in price.
I
to
mean,
sell the
I
house,
can't
yeah.
move anywhere to get more for my money right
Yeah.
now. I'm
No.
sure you guys can't either.
Yeah.
I remember back in, when the rates were 2 and, 2.5%, 3% or whatever, people weren't even looking at the price of the house. They were looking at what their monthly payment was. And I would tell them, I'm saying, look, you're not buying a car, for your monthly payment here. You're looking at a house that's, $700,000. Yeah, but it's only going to cost me, this much. But that's what a lot of people were doing.
I'm going to be on Fox Business in 2 days on the Clayman report, and just looking at some of the data and the statistics. I think it's from last year. The price per month on the median home across the country is $220 more a month
Yep.
out of your pocket,
Right.
for whoever it is, whatever.
And then you throw inflation and wages not growing.
Right.
That eats into you.
Going shopping and getting groceries, going, to get gas and
Buying
everything
Robert
else.
Graham shirts. I mean, it's hey, Vito, I got to tell you, look, he's first Vino with Vito, then Fox Business.
Oh, look at this. Whoa, I
You know
feel
what?
honored, man.
If everybody, you know what, in Monte Scolioso, Italy, if they're watching right now, they're saying, so proud of you. He made it. It's a nice of Vito. All right, let's go to 12 months out, right? So June of 2025, how many rate cuts will the Fed do, if any? We'll go to the wizard.
It's all based around the election. I think you'll see one end of summer and then one before the election.
Okay.
You'll see two before the election. After that,
2 before this election?
2 before the
Wow,
election.
that's aggressive. Okay. Mike?
I
12 months.
I thought I heard that the Fed said that they were going to do something later on in the year in the fall, and
Right.
then look at it again in the following year where they thought they might be getting more aggressive. If anybody can predict that, man, we're
Yeah.
boy.
Look at the dot
Start
plot.
gambling. Yeah.
No,
Don
but,
Vito?
But again, the Fed always says, "Hey, we're going to do this. We're not going to do this," and people change their minds. Look, if inflation, goes down again. Look at
Unemployment too.
unemployment, goes up. Look at retail sales; they were
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So the Fed's going to look at all that, and they might come back and say, "Hey, we might do 2 this year." You don't know.
You don't know. All right.
Anything is possible. They got to look at all the numbers. But my opinion, they should look at everybody that's struggling and saying, you know what, we really need to do something, but they don't look at it.
Well, we're the most rate sensitive industry there is out there. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's where most people have a lot of their wealth and equity.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, when they're cutting rates, it means the economy overall is
not doing well.
Not doing well, right? And that's why they got to cut the rates.
Final one on the Vito prediction. Will Vito make platinum this year? Chris?
I think so, right?
All right.
You had a good year.
I hope so.
Mike, what do you think?
I gotta say, I would always bet on Vito. Yes, and I hope it's Centurion with us as well. So.
Centur- oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
Vito?
I presented that trophy. To him.
Yeah, I got
Yes,
a couple of those.
yes.
They look like Oscars.
Yes.
That's right. That's
He
right.
has that picture
Coveted Oscar.
in his hallway at home, too. Vito, what's your prediction? Platinum, Centurion? Service
Platinum,
quality?
hopefully platinum and Centurion. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's our game. Thanks for playing. Predictions. We will roll this back in 12 months to see the predictions and where we are. Yeah, we had Eric predict. Who else do we have? We had a bunch of
Well,
people
yeah,
predict.
we had a few
Yeah.
people predict.
Yeah.
But again, you know what? It's our opinion. We're trying to figure it out. I wish I had a crystal ball. You
Yep.
know, then we would know. Basically everything.
And
But
please look at the discybuscribe under the subscribe button. These are not the opinions. of Mike, Vino, Vito, anybody.
Or this bottle of wine.
The bottle
or
of
the
wine.
bottle of wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Or this Robert Graham Holden.
Robert Graham, yeah, exactly, incorporated. This is just our opinion.
It's our opinion. But you know what? I always say this is the best job that I've had. I mean, and I tell everybody I left, a corporate job myself and left everything behind with a newborn and 2 kids, no health insurance, no nothing. And I said, you know what? This is what I really want to do. And I get up every morning and I go and do it.
Well, and we talked about risk earlier, right? Like that was a big move, but I think you would agree. I mean, this is one of the most rewarding things because sky's the limit. You go out and work really hard, you can make a lot of money in this business.
Right.
You could be working 7 days a week, but you're going to be working really hard and making a lot of money. But at the same time, you are like nobody else has the ability to hand over the keys, deliver that dream of home ownership, and know you're really helping families.
Yep.
In the largest purchase they're
Or,
going to
or,
Definitely.
or when somebody calls you or at the close, I couldn't have done it without you.
Right.
Thank
How
you so
gratifying,
much.
right?
Yep.
I mentioned this one time before too. Was I had someone text me, "Thank you so much. We just paid off our mortgage. We own the house outright. And that's years and years of selling real estate. Not selling real estate, helping people buy real estate. We're not just selling them, a piece of land or a home.
Selling them a home.
We're selling them a home, and we're helping them, raise their family, and people remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love when I see the little kids, around town. Hey, mommy, dad, that's the guy that gave us our home. No,
Yeah.
no. He didn't give it to
Yeah.
us. The mom and dad will be like, no, he helped us find our home.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's very, very,
Very
a
rewarding.
great industry with great professionals. So
Absolutely.
Thanks for the opportunity.
No. Thank you so much for coming, Mike. Now tell us a little bit about yourself. You live in Essex County.
I born and raised Essex County, man. Nutley, New Jersey. I migrated west out to where everybody from Nutley and the spaghetti triangle, as we call it, winds up moving. And I love it. I mean, it's we're in a dense area. But I wouldn't trade the food, the people, the lifestyle for anything. And we pay it in taxes, but it's all good.
It makes me laugh. Nutley, right? Furio on The Sopranos. Remember the episode?
Yeah, he bought his house in
I'm
Nutley.
buying my house. I'm moving to Nutley.
Yeah, that's right. I was just watching that the other day. He goes, he had a problem with the zoning with the garage.
Only in Nutley, New Jersey,
Yeah.
right?
And the Soprano house was up the street from where I live now,
Yeah.
up in North
Yeah,
Caldwell.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. A beautiful house up there. But
Did you see Jason's listing in Essex
Oh,
Fells?
my
Oh
God,
my
man.
God, man, that was.
These guys
insane.
kill it. These guys
Yeah,
crush it. I mean,
yeah.
they run around in big circles. I pass his office out. I mean, my daughter's dance studio is around the block in Fairfield from where you guys' office out of, and I pass it all the time. It's a beautiful place. And again, like that sign, that is who Century 21 is
Yeah.
in the Fairfield, Essex County market. And whoever else it is in that market, that's what Century 21 stands for to the consumer. That's why I give so much credit to these professionals who are doing it every day.
And you get phone calls sometimes. Hey, somebody's on vacation. They'll snap a picture of a Century 21 sign and send it.
Paris or in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the
Which is
time.
great. It's a great feeling. Hey, at least these people remember I work for Century
That's
21,
right. Yeah.
That's right.
and I am a realtor.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
But no, Mike, this was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Definitely.
I hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Definitely. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to tell everybody before we go here?
I'd say back to your predictions and everything else. There's never a bad time to buy real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the saying everybody says? You marry the house, you date the rate. It's an investment that's going to long term pay off for you. Proven to put equity back in people's pocket, where most people have their wealth. And one thing I'd always say is that make sure you hire the right real estate professional who understands the market, who knows how to navigate, who's aligned with great partners in ancillary businesses like mortgage, title, escrow, all those things that are important in getting to the closing table. And again, it's the American dream, and it is for a reason, because the most intimate moments in people's lives with their families happen around their house. So.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well said.
Yeah.
Wine is done. And on that note, one day, and that day will come when you need to buy or sell a house. And when that day does come, you need to call the godfather of Northern New Jersey real estate, Vito Contuzzi. Salud.
Cheers.